Hello and welcome to Healthy Knitting. My name is Rosie. Today is May 18th, 2014. And welcome. Thank you for coming. We have a very long show today. So much has happened. I actually was very busy and had a lot of things going on. My desk is full and I'm actually back with my back to the windows because it's just easier for me to put my desk things out like this. And if I turned it around and sat over there, for some reason I can't reach everything and then I'll be smashing into the computer, which I don't want to do. So, you know what I always forget to tell you is that you can find me on Ravelry as LESPETISLUXES. And also there is a WordPress site. If you are finding, Buddy just decided to say hello. If you found me on YouTube, sorry, cat putt. There's a link down in the bottom where you can actually find the blog, but not like I write show notes very often, so chances are there won't be any. I'm still really busy with stuff, so it's crazy. Oh, that was one of the other things I wanted to talk about. Hang on. I wrote out notes. Okay, Buddy. This is Buddy's thing. He loves to sit on my shoulders. Ouch. Okay, so let's see. New and good. There's a lot of new and good because it's been, I don't remember when I recorded last, but I think I had a weekend and I've had part of this weekend, which is helpful. And I have to record today because one of my projects is going away today, and it was intended for me when I started, but it's now going to my friend, and we'll talk about that. And I also need to get her some fence. It's okay, Buddy. Which it has been raining the past, not yesterday, but the 2 days prior, so I couldn't do it then when I had a little bit of time. And yesterday I was at Webb's, so I did not take the fence down. So I have to do that today before 2 o'clock. Well, way before 2 because I have to get washed up and be ready to leave to be there by 2. Anyway, let's get started. This is Buddy. I love this cat. He's so cute. Okay, so new and good. I went to Webb's and I did buy things. I bought many things. I bought fiber. I bought yarn. I never buy fiber hardly when I go to the tent sale. And I always buy yarn there, and I buy the fiber when I go to Rhinebeck. And I did buy some needles, and I'd like to show you those too. So let me show you the needles. I'm not sure if I was talking to you, maybe I was talking with my friends in the knit group, that I wanted to try smaller size needles. So I just bought the Knitter's Pride Nova Cubics in the 0. And I already use, well, I'll show them to you when I take up my project, but I use, oh my God, what are they called? Signatures. And I think mine are a 2.25, but I've told you my gauge is changing and I really have to think very hard about knitting tight, like really pulling my, keeping my yarn extremely tight with my left hand, and it's not that much fun. So I thought, let me go down a needle size and see what happens there. So I tried these. These are the 5-inch. After I got home, I'm like, why didn't I get the 6-inch? Because I complained about the 5-inch circulars, signatures, and they fall off and blah, blah, blah. And what do? I buy these. So if I don't like them, I can give them away and get a size 6. But I don't even know if I'm going to like them yet. Then I also bought in a size 00, although these don't look that tiny. We'll see. These are the carbons, and they had these on sale a while ago, and I didn't get them because I heard mixed reviews, and I thought, you know what, they didn't have the other ones in a 00. They didn't have these in a 0. So I tried these, and we'll see how they work. The tips seem pretty pointy. I didn't actually take them apart yet to put them next to the signatures to see, but hello, Buddy. I haven't worked with them yet. I actually just took them out of the package to see what they felt like, and that was it. But I do have sock yarn that I'd like to try that with. So I'm not going to go through everything I bought because we'll be here for a while. I did get quite a few things, but I do this on purpose. Actually go with shopping in mind, and I buy a lot. Nobody, you can't. You can stay on my shoulders. I buy a lot of the bags, yarn, the grab bags, and they're a really good price. And I know how much yarn I usually need for a sweater. I've kind of pre-looked on Ravelry to see what I was going to make, the yarns that I was really looking for, and then always there's surprises at Webs. And if I've worked with a fiber before, sure, I'll get it. If I kind of have an idea what it's going to be like, I'll get it. Buddy, where are you going, hon? So anyway, I'm not going to show you everything, but I will show you the fiber that I got. But I'll show you that during the spinning section because I think I'd like to keep all the spinning together. So the other new and good thing, buddy, you can't sit there, honey. That's on everything. I went to Fluid Cats, which is a fundraiser for Mid-Hudson Animal Aid, and you've heard me talk about them before. And that was really fun. They did different this year. My friend Cynthia wasn't there, who I bought the painting from last year. She wasn't able to go, unfortunately, because we all really enjoy watching her paint. She's a fantastic painter. But they have jazz playing, and they had only 3 painters, and this time they had them painting so you could watch them paint from behind their shoulders. And there's one painter I really wanted to mention because I remember his name. His name is Rick Price, and his painting was really fun to watch because of all the transitions of color that he used. He started out with a blue as a cat, of course, a very big cat face this big, and very very much inspired me. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. And all right, hang on. Where was I? So it started out with one color, and then he overlaid the whole thing with another color, and then I had to go look for my friend, and I came back, and there was another color with another one on there. I missed a color, and it just kept morphing through all of this, and the end result was absolutely amazing. And it really, they were doing acrylic painting, and I have done acrylic. I took classes from Cynthia, but I don't really delve in it. Like, I do more pastels than anything else. So it was really, really, really interesting to watch that. I mean, I've seen how Cynthia paints because I've watched her, but to watch other people paint and how their inspiration comes through, to me, is absolutely amazing. So that was really fun. Oh, and they had a fashion show, which was really fun. They had, there was a local store in town, and I can't remember the name of I think I'm losing color here, light. I'm just going to turn on this lamp, see if that helps a little bit. They donated the clothes from their shop, and then everybody made headdresses, cat themed. Some had some cat masks on, which were really, really cool. And they were all in a rainbow color, so they came down in a rainbow. It was really, really, really fun. The music was great, and I hope they raised a lot of money for Mid-Hudson Animal Aid. They do a lot of good work with the animals in our local area. Not to say they're not the only one. There's a ton. We're very fortunate to have a lot of no-kill shelters around here. The other interesting thing that I did was another friend of mine had her showing at the gallery 2 doors next to where we knit. And I'm going to tell you, that was one of the best shows in Beacon that I've seen. I mean, outside of going to the museum. I mean, it was museum quality. It was really amazing, done in pastels. 2 works in pastels, a drawing, the sketch. She had a bison hide that was tanned in the method of the Indians so that it didn't harm the environment. And she painted on there buffalo. There's a whole thing about it. If you are interested in looking at that, I think you can find that information on the Catalyst gallery website from Beacon. Absolutely amazing. The pastels were phenomenal. I mean, I just can't even get over it. I mean, you walk in and you're just like floored. Holy cow, this belongs in a museum. It was really amazing. So, and great job on her gallery showing. I have an app on my phone that I use to actually write my notes out. Because remember, I keep telling you, oh, I didn't write this out. I forgot to tell you, blah, 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 blah. Well, there's an app called Talk, iTalk, T-I and then T-A-L-K. And it just takes notes. And I find it to be a little bit quicker and easier than the note memos that comes with this. So that's what I did. I just kept writing down notes. Oh, talk about this, talk about that. And then when I wrote out everything, I had my categories and just wrote everything down. And obviously I'm still forgetting things because I forgot to tell you about Ian's show. So that's that. Oh, the other day, it was really funny. This is my office, and I have a view out a window over here. And I have so much wildlife. I have almost an acre here. And I'm surrounded by other natural areas. I think there's like 11 acres that way that can't perk, so hopefully nobody will develop on that because there's a lot of wildlife that lives here and they won't have a place to live. And then I think there's another 5 or 6 acres that way. And there really isn't anything directly this way. The property houses are up more towards the top. So I'm pretty much surrounded on those sides by just natural habitat. And so I do have tons of birds. I have lots of raccoons, lots of squirrels, turkeys, wild turkeys. I had a bear at my house. I have tons of deer. And I've had a fox a long time ago. Oh, I also have coyotes and rabbits. And had a couple times I've had mallard ducks, just a family walking through my side yard. It's incredible. I'm like, what are you doing walking? I get you guys fly. There's a pond over at Mike's next door to me, but I don't know why they were walking. But anyway, it was pretty funny. So anyway, I don't let my cats out anymore. I did let Natalia out, and she actually got out because I had the screen open on this window the other day. I think I was letting a bug out or something, and I just shut it, and I was like, oh, it'll go. And I opened the window because it was nice out when I got home yesterday, and then I see Buddy up in the window looking down. I'm like, oh no, sure enough, 2 seconds the window's open, she finds it. So had to go grab her. But I had a fox in the side yard. He went running through, and I looked over, and he went running down to the back, and there was a den back there. I think the first year I moved here, but then I really didn't see him anymore. And then the next day again, he came flying through. Where'd he go? Oh, he went up this way. And then hightailed it off that way. It almost seemed like they're looking for something. I'm like, are you running away from something or are you chasing something? And then not soon after that, like maybe an hour later, I saw a rabbit. So I'm glad they missed each other. I do like rabbits. They're really cute. I know foxes need to eat too. It's just the life cycle is kind of sad. And I've had lots of wildlife with raccoons lately. Right now, the raccoons are... they should have their babies, and they don't want to leave them at night because then they can get eaten by predators. So they tend to go out during the day, and they're nocturnal animals, so they really can't see all that great in the daytime. And this one keeps going in my feeder. My poor feeder's trashed. And I just try to remember to bring it in at night, but now they're coming out early. It's like 4:30, and they're knocking down the thing. But anyway, so actually... the other story is on my roof, right above me, exactly right above me, is a big pile of raccoon poop. Now, normally my roof has 2 pitches, and there's another little spot where my kitchen goes, and under their eave over there is always raccoon poop I have to take out from the winter that they're hanging out up there. Right in the middle of the roof, though, really? Like, that's disgusting. I put up the heat tape, so I can't just like flick it off the roof. I'm gonna have to scoop it up and fling it off. Gross. Thanks, raccoons. Anyway, so I swear there's only 2 more new things, new and good. Because of the new certification I'm getting, they require me to use Excel spreadsheets. And so reluctantly, I looked into Microsoft to get the spreadsheets for my Mac. I have a Mac. I don't like, and I apologize if I'm offending anybody, but it's my personal taste, and I prefer a Mac. I will never go back to a PC. I do not like Windows. I do not like anything about Windows. And even when Mac has weird stuff that drives me crazy, I will still never go back to a PC. It's just my personal preference. So I really didn't want to put this stuff on there in the first place, but they do make a program that works with Mac. And there's one that's a subscription. You can get it. It'll go on your iPad. It can go up to 5 computers, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it was, I don't know, $70 or something like that. Well, I had a long time ago, I forgot, have a Hotmail account. And that one, because I think they bought Hotmail, it automatically made me an account with Microsoft. And I forgot about it when I was on the phone with a guy, and I set up a new program, a new username, and got myself all set up. I could see it there, everything. I started linking my Skype account because it has a Skype thing. You get credits. And then they're like, well, our system's down right now, so give us an hour. We'll call you back, and we'll get it put on your computer. So they call back. It wouldn't go. They're like, all right, well, it's probably a problem. Call back later and try again. So I tried again, and now I'm like, something weird happened that I got a notification on my Hotmail account that somebody's trying to access my Microsoft account. And I'm like, what? That's really weird. I think there's a weird correlation. Something is confusing. They know my computer as my Hotmail account and not the Gmail account I set up. And I called them up and told them that. They're like, well, what are you calling for? Are you calling for because you have a problem with your account, or are you calling because you can't get access to the thing? I said, I think they're related. No, they're not. And they argued with me. I'm like, whatever. So they had to get me a key code. They wanted to try to go in my computer and do it. I'm like, no, I don't want you touching my computer. I will do it myself. Show me how to do this. And it turns out I was right. And I'm not a computer genius by any stretch. But I felt that there was really something wrong there. And then I just got the runaround. I had so much trouble. I was like, you know what? I don't want to take it off. And I found a different solution, which is one I want to tell you about, which is called Open Office. And I heard of it a long time ago, but it wasn't on my radar because I didn't need to use Microsoft products, because I can open up Excel spreadsheets. I can open up documents. I just can't save as those in my computer. And with this certification, I need to actually send things in Excel and use their program the way it is. So that happens to be working. And this certification is fantastic, but it's taking up a lot of my free time. I mean, I am knitting and stuff like that and getting things done, but it's taken up a lot of time. I'm trying to get it done before I leave for Italy again, which is probably at the end of June, which is not far. I mean, we're talking less than a month and a half, and I haven't even bought my ticket yet. Oh, gosh, I think I'll do that on Monday. So I'm trying to get a lot of it done because I need to do, I need to talk with them, and you have a mentoring program, and then you actually do parts of your certification orally. And in order to do that easily for me, I mean, there is a guy in Denmark that I can talk to, but I'd kind of like to get as much of it done as I can here before I go back. So that is what I've been doing. So that's it for new and good. So on the needles, on and off the needles, because we got stuff on and we got stuff off. Yay. We got a lot. I got a lot. I was very productive this week, which is always helpful. Okay, so the first project I finished was the French Can shawl, and that is by Mademoiselle C. I don't know. This is what it looks like, and I didn't show you a picture of it before. Isn't that pretty? It's very beautiful. It's super simple to knit, really, really easy. And this is the project that is not staying with me because my friend is graduating. She just got her PhD. And so I am decided, instead of keeping this for myself, I'm going to give it to her. And so I blocked it yesterday, and this is the shawl. And I think if you look carefully this side, right about, I'm going to put it right under my chin. Can you see that mistake? See that mistake? I need to figure out how to correct that. I knew it when I did it, and I turned around and I looked, and I'm like, oh, I don't see that really made a problem. Well, as soon as I put it on and looked in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God. You can see it so much better when you look at it like this versus when it's on. But I'm still going to try to pull that down a little bit. I have to obviously weave in the ends. But this was made with, I think, Mirsol Tupa, and I think I did it on 7s. I'm pretty sure I did it on 7s. And I used just 4 skeins of this yarn, which was perfect. I love the size. I'm going to make it again because obviously I need one for me. I enjoyed the pattern. It was super easy except for that one little mistake that I made, and that was very tragic. So I'm sure she will love it. She's a very tall girl and will be able to wear that nicely. Okay, so that's French Can-Can, done. The other thing I have done is, this is, I'm very organized today. Very organized today. Evening Lace by Cecily Glowick McDonald, and this is in the book Knitted Gifts, and this is what this looks like. Oops, that's not what that looks like. You know what, let me just get a bigger picture. You can't really see. It has a lace detail in it. It's a little hard to see. But I am using Classic Elite Solstice, and this is, I believe, 50 organic, no, excuse me, it's 70 organic cotton and 30 wool. And this is in a purple colorway. There's stuff I need to talk to you about these things later when we get to another section. But, oh, that's on the needles. And here it is, because I'm getting all confused. So this is the back, and I'm not that far because, well, we'll talk about that later. These are, I'm using size 7s again. Seems to be the needle of choice these days are my 7s. These are the higher sharps, and I really like those. I am going to try the ChiaoGoo, and I want to get the set, the double set from the 2 to 13, 15 or whatever it is, but I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. I do prefer the sharps over the regular blunt tip ones though. They're just so much easier to use. They're still a very lightweight needle that I like. The cord drives me a little crazy and they undo. And I broke, oh yeah, I broke one of my cords. I lent one of my cords to my friend. She's making this hat, and it's really, really pretty. And it has a knit 4 together in it. Like, holy cow. And then you do a slip, 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 slip 4 over. And with the blunt needles, it's just too difficult to do that stitch. And I had the small cables, and and the cable popped out. So I think I'm going to cut the cable where the little knot is. It's not like a knot, it's kind of like you singe it a bit, pop it through, singe it, and then pull it back and see if that fixes it. If not, I'm going to get another small size cable. Well, I will, because it's part of the set, and I know if I don't need it, if I don't have it, I'll need it. One of those. Then I made this by Vladimir Teryokin. I'm not saying that very well. But I made this little tank top. And this is in Vogue Knitting. Number 21 in the spring-summer 2002. And this is made with seedling. And I think this, again, I did this on a 7. I think it's Classic Elite Seedling, and it's organic cotton. And I made it longer. I did one more extra repeat, which worked out great because it was just, you're supposed to divide for the top and the armhole at the same time, but I had just a couple more rows before I was able to complete my pattern repeat. So that totally worked out, and I didn't even, like I knit the back. The back went fine. The front, you can see this is not a complicated cable. This is not a complicated pattern. Oh, actually the back I didn't do that right either, so that I can talk about too. But anyway, it was super easy. I made it more complicated. The only thing, I really love this yarn. I wish Classic Elite would make this type yarn in a, oh, I think I have it over here, in a DK weight. Because they have it in an Aran weight and I think this is worsted. No, I'm sorry, bulky and Aran, and this is the Aran weight. Do you see the yarn? It's really pretty. It's super soft, and it's not as heavy. I mean, it's heavy, but cotton, you know how some cottons can be really, really heavy? Well, I think that the way they make this is very light. It's easy on your hands. I would totally knit with this again, but I just wish they made a DK weight because I like the way DK weight cotton looks on me better than worsted or Aran weight. But it's done. I will wear it. It matches the same color. I love this color. This is my new color, people. I love this color. It's magenta-y, fuchsia beautifulness. Okay, so that's that. Oh, put that over here. Okay. The other thing I finished was a cat bed, and I made this with my own hand spun. And what happened was I bought this Cormo a long time ago, probably like my first trip to Rhinebeck, and it was really cheap. You know why it was really cheap? Because it was garbage and it spun horrible. There was neps and everything. It was really, really poorly prepared. But I spun it anyway, and I had this crazy, crazy skein of yarn, and I was like, what the heck I can't wear this. But it's super spongy, soft. I mean, I love Cormo. And next year, I think I bought not next year, but maybe a few years later, well, the year after I spun that, I wound up buying like 1.5 pounds of this beautifully prepared, amazing Cormo. So I made the Crocheted Cat Bed by Jamie Ekins. Isn't that kitty cute? Well, mine does not work like this because it's not staying up, but I didn't really follow the directions properly either. This is the cat bed, and the gauge is all crazy, and I didn't even take this off. Still sitting there. And I didn't take this one off on the end either. It's already full of cat hair. The minute I put it down, the cats were like whoosh. They love the smell of hand spun because it feels really, really soft. Like, I love Cormo, and I think I want to make them a bunch more of these. Number one, they're fast. I think I made this in, I don't know, an hour. And for my cats to really enjoy it and get all that much use out of it, that's pretty fantastic. And it was super easy. And did I mention quick? Oh, shoot, I didn't talk about something. Darn. All right, we'll go back to that in a second. So, cat bed, done. And I don't even know how much yarn this is. I don't know how much yards I got, but it was a very simple pattern. Once you get past a couple, you don't really even need to look at the pattern anymore. Just cross off how many. If you need a size, just watch your size, basically. So that's been fun. The other thing I'm knitting on, I had some laundromat time, and oh gosh, I was like, I have silverware in my, it's not silverware, it's plasticware. I think that's from the airplane. Oh my god, this is from the airplane. This is how crazy I am. Because I didn't use it, I'm like, they're just gonna throw it out. So I took it, and I'll probably use it at some point. Because you know how I feel about landfills. Okay, so I had some laundromat time. So I was working on my socks. Oh, by the way, Mustache is having a month of socks. So I actually, if I can remember to take pictures and get them uploaded, I should have 2 pairs of socks to put in. And this is my all-time favorite vanilla sock pattern that I use all the time. In case you're just listening and not watching, it's by Nitty Gritty Thoughts, and it's just called Plain Vanilla Socks. And this is Santa Fe, Aslan Trends Santa Fe in a purple colorway, because I don't even know what colorway it is. And I just actually finished the heel turn, and I've done, I think, 1 row around so that my needles, after I picked up the stitches, would come in. Why the light's not so good, is it? There we go. And I always do I would do the Aria Partridge heel. I love that heel. It pulls it in really nice, and it's pretty, especially with colored yarns. Light's bad, sorry. So that's 1 sock. And these are the signatures. See how sharp these are? Here, let's take out the carbons and see if they are as sharp. I don't think the other ones are. They feel like they have a more blunt tip, the Cubics. Not as sharp. I don't know if you can see that. The dark colored one. You know what? The camera makes it look like it is as sharp, but you know what? Maybe it is. You know what? It's really hard to tell. I will knit with them and let you know how I feel about those. Okay, so those are still in progress and got some work this month. And I think that's all I've knitted on. 1, 2, 3. So I have, yeah, that's it. That was a lot for me, really. Sometimes I feel like I don't have enough to show you. Okay, so let me go back to one of the other things that's new and good. I bought a new cat litter box because I'm just really, when I got home, my house smelled a little bit, and it doesn't smell when I'm here. I take really good care to make sure that I get everything out of the litter box, and I don't appreciate cat smell, and I don't ever want my house smelling like I'm the crazy cat lady. So being gone for 3 months at a time now, I really needed a new system that was going to work, because if I came home and had really stinky house, I was going to get very upset. So I bought this Smart Cat box, and I bought this there from California, and I didn't even realize this existed. My cat sitter was talking about the one from, I think it's Purina. I'm not sure exactly now. What it does is it has these little big pellets, and everything goes down underneath into something that's similar to like a diaper pad. And to me, yeah, it's a great idea because you're not having to throw out soaked litter, but you're having to throw out this soaked piece of diaper, which to me is more trash in a landfill. There's got to be a better way. And so when I started looking at reviews, someone had posted this in the review, and I'm like, oh, well, let me go check this place out. So it's working out really well. It uses safflower seeds as the bedding, which doesn't absorb the moisture. It drains down in through the holes into a little pan, and you can kind of see the pan right here. And so far, I was concerned when I called them. I'm like, how much does this thing hold? How many cat litter? How many cats? I have multiple cats, and I don't want it overflowing. And so far, it hasn't. But I always clean my litter box every day anyway. And during the day, this is open. At night, it's shut. But there's also 2 litter boxes downstairs. But I am going to get rid of those because I am getting another one of these. This is fantastic. The only thing is I can't use one of those little mats that holds the things when they fall out, because this one here, Buddy, will pee on it. Buddy pees on everything, and if he doesn't like something, he'll pee on it, which is very, very frustrating, which means nothing can ever be on the floor. You always have to check everything. I do love him to pieces, but he keeps me on my toes. Yes, Bud Man. Anyway, there's no smell. The poop is easily to clean out, and you can actually put it in the toilet at this point, and the pee can go in the toilet. So I'm not throwing anything in a landfill. Fabulous. The litter lasts for a very long time, and I think you can clean it with bleach, but so far I haven't noticed any problems with that. She said a new litter is coming out. I asked her, I was like, can you make one for multiple cats? The reservoir a little bit bigger, please. We don't want any leaks happening on the floor, but I want to tell you, this is again, if you have cats, the Smart Cat box, there's no dust in the litter. I mean, it's ridiculous. I have my litter box downstairs. They still bring up, I use right now, made out of walnut shells. It's on my bed. It's on the floor. It's everywhere. My bed is nowhere near the basement, and they're tracking it all the way from the basement up and into my bed. I mean, it's just disgusting. So this is great because the pieces are big enough, if they come out of the litter box and happen to be, scattered, that you can easily sweep them up and throw them back in the box, but it's not dusty. So if there's people with allergies and things like that, who are allergic to dust, not cats, because that's a little more tricky, this thing worked great. And they are out of California, and if you did a Google search for Smart Cat box, you would find it. highly, highly recommend it. This is a person who has had cats all of her life, multiple cats, up to God knows how many numbers, I'm not telling you. This so far is the best cat litter box I've ever seen for my cats, me, and the environment. So kudos, thank you for that. I wanted to talk about what might be next up. So I believe, oh goodness, who is it? There's a podcaster who's making it via Janche, and she's having a informal knit along. I don't do knit alongs very well, but I might need some encouragement with this one because number one, it's a very big project. And number two, I'm planning on making it out of cobweb lace. Bought this at Webs, and this is Fila di Crasa Cento Lavaggi. It's super, super soft. I believe this is 100% merino. It's made in Italy. It just says wool. It's so soft it feels like merino. And I just absolutely love this color. Like, really? I mean, you have no idea how much of this color I keep buying. But it's a color I can wear. So for me, this project, when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Because it's going to be up near your face and around. And you can change it to 50 different things. And it's a very bright, happy color. And for me, it makes me smile. And I think this would be a really versatile piece to wear, especially in the summer when it gets a little chilly at night and you just want a lightweight something. Cobweb, so it's going to be very loose. I can make another one day if I wanted to in lace weight, or another one in fingering weight, whatever I choose. But for right now, I'm making it out of this. So if I can remember who that podcaster is, I will talk about it next week. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I can do the socks with the mustache, and I can do that with when I watch the podcast again and remember who it was, because apparently I have a hard time if I don't write things down. So that's up next. A couple other things that I'm thinking of making. I bought yarn to make the Old Flames scarf, and this looks like a very quick, easy, and it's a free pattern. And I thought that was really pretty. And it's made with worsted, and I bought this at Webs. I won't do too many more of the what's up next. But Tivoli by S. Charles. And this is another, it's a purple, it's not as purple as it's showing up here. It's more like a mauve-y color. It's not showing up good. So that will be one of the other ones up next. And oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a spreadsheet. Before Ravelry, I had all my yarns in a spreadsheet. And I still do, because for me, it's just easier to search things. There's no picture, but I can sort everything any zillion way that I want because it's a spreadsheet. And I can keep track of how much I've knitted and, you know, what I have in my inventory and blah, 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 blah. At a quick glance, a little quicker for me than Ravelry, and I don't need to be online to look at it. So I started looking through. I categorized everything as I don't know when I bought it, so it went into 2007, because I know everything after that. I know what I bought in 2007 and after. But prior to that, there's yarns I've had from 2002. And I decided, you know what? You're going to start knitting with some of those. So I paired up some projects, and I highlighted them, and they will be knit up as well soon, like maybe this month. Oh, it's not this month. Maybe June, while I'm here, because I'm also tagging projects that I'm going to take to Italy, because I will be gone for 3 months, and I plan on making a blanket for when I'm over there and leaving it there, and another project that was easy, like things that are easy for me to take over there and work on. So I'm trying to figure that out too in the midst, because holy cow, it's coming up. Before you know it, I'll be on my way over there again. Okay, so let me talk about some mistakes. The can mistake, you've already heard about that one. This one was just ridiculous. So the back, I didn't pay attention. There's a by the way, if you ever do this pattern, there's a correction on the website for Vogue. And the pattern, it's not just a knit 2, purl 2. It's knit 2, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. Like, it's all over the place. Well, I messed it up. And you can see it's not even, there's no resemblance of a normal pattern on here. There is on the front though. because apparently I paid a little closer attention, and it all went wrong after the increase row. So I did do it right. So I got up to about, you can see that increase row, right? And that's another weird thing. I don't know, if I were to make this again, first of all, this says made in a medium. I would make this small. It's super stretchy to the point where this medium is almost a little big, but I'm hoping maybe a wash and a dry and it will shrink up a little bit. So they have you do the ribbing, and then they do an increase round. And I'm like, why would you want, I'm just going to go with it because it's what it says. I don't really feel like changing everything and figuring everything all out. But why would you want to increase at your waist, low waist? And I mean, that just to me makes absolutely no sense. I mean, I know there's a cable pattern in here, but they did it on the back too. And the cable pattern really didn't pull anything in too much. So anyway, I get up to the increase round, and I do that, and I go up a little bit, and I'm like, oh, when do I start that cable? So I had to go back down to the cast-on row. I didn't take it all out. I just pulled down the cable, reknit the cable. I go up. I get up to here. Everything's going fine. I get up to here. I do something weird with the cable, and I go past it. I had to go back again and reknit the cable. I did that many times, people. Many times. Like, this is not a complicated cable. It's one that you can actually not even, you don't need a cable needle. You don't really need to pay attention. You can kind of know what you're doing. It's not complicated. I don't know where my head was at. So that all was crazy. When I got up to the top, my row gauge must be off completely from the pattern. By the time I got all the decreases done, I was about this much higher than I needed to be. So I had to go back, do more decreases quicker at the neck edge, and do some crazy bind off to get it to work with the other side. So it was a quick knit, and it would have been even quick. I think it only took me a couple days to make this. It would have been quicker if I hadn't made all those mistakes, because I pretty much knit the front like a couple times. The panel anyway. Okay, what else was I going to tell you about mistakes? Oh, this is not so much as a mistake, but this is a buddy issue. I made, and I love this blanket, but the cats have kind of taken it over. The Paint Box Log Cabin by Catherine Keyes. So this is 9 balls of Noro crayon and I think almost a skein of Cascade Eco Wool that I overdyed because I only had brown. This is full of cat hair, so excuse me. I think I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I told you, I think, a little bit about, can you see all the holes? There's one right there. I can't see if you, yeah, you can see the holes. Okay, see all these holes? This is not moths. It's Buddy. I left the tassel, the ends in, and I didn't weave them in, and I was like, oh, I'll just do a little at a time. Well, he would play with those, and I would see what he'd play with them, he'd pull on them, blah, blah, blah. Well, he ate holes in the blanket. So I think what I'm going to do, because it is full of cat hair, is just take it to the laundromat and felt it, and then have a thick blanket. Because right now, it's between the cat hair and the holes, it's absolutely disgusting. And then keep the cats off the blanket. So that's it wasn't a very expensive blanket to make. Granted, the Noro I did not pay full price for. I paid half price for it, but still, it was a lot because it was 2 bags full. And then, the other one on top of it, and the time. And it was really fun to make it. I would totally make another one, but I think the next one I want to do is the Red Cross one. I like that pattern as well. That's really pretty. So anyway, that's that. Let's talk about spinning. Holy cow, it's 44 minutes. I told you I had a lot, and it's because I've actually been doing stuff. So last time you saw me, I had the singles on my, sorry, now I got cat hair and everything, trindle. And this is the Cotswold locks, and this was the preparation that I did with my hand combs. So Andy implied that, and that's all I got. I didn't wash it yet. I washed the other stuff though. And actually You can kind of tell the difference. I'll show you the difference. This is the light colored Cotswold locks that I did a 2-ply, and this was off the drum carder. And if you remember, I think I told you, if you didn't watch before, this was heavily greasy. It was filthy dirty. I couldn't really get it through the combs very well. There's junk in it. It was just a mess. So it is washed. It's not really all that soft. I think it would have been nicer if it had been in the preparation of the combs and not the carder. You can see, I mean, it did actually spin pretty nice, but I did not enjoy, I mean, like the end result is okay, but I didn't enjoy spinning it. My fingers were black. It was really gross. I don't know what was in here to make it so disgusting, but it's done. This is all of the 2 bats that I had, and you can see it's kind of crinkly compared to this one, which is the mohair. These were both on the same Nitty Naughty. You can see there's a little bit more woolenness with this, obviously, because it's made out of wool and not mohair, which doesn't have any crimp at all. But this doesn't have a lot of crimp anyway, the Cotswold locks. It's soft, but it's not like I wouldn't want to wear it on my neck at all. This one, a little bit softer because it was the preparation was softer, and really you wouldn't really know to look at it if it was too much different. Actually, it looks like the other one is even fluffier. But that's finished. I have, I think, 5 bats of this color to do. I don't know when I'm going to do it because I didn't enjoy doing this one, and that was only two bats. There are so many other things that I want to spin with. I'm considering maybe not, and maybe just using it as felt. Life's too short. It's a pretty color, but I could make a felted thing and the cats could lie on it, and I would be perfectly happy with that. And I might even then just knit that and give it to the cats. Who knows? This is the mohair that I dyed with calendula leaves, I don't know, 10 million years ago when I had my herb garden when I lived in Vermont. And I really love it. I do love spinning mohair out of a bat, out of top, anything. It's just such beautiful, silky fiber. And this is super soft, and this is soft enough to wear on your neck. So that's the mohair. I don't know how, these are both 2-plies, and I have no idea how much yardage I have because I didn't count it, and if I counted it, I would be able to tell you. The other thing I spun is, I didn't do the other silk. I didn't feel like it. I just wanted something quicker. So this is Romney that I bought at Rhinebeck last year and dyed with greener shades. And this is coming out very nice. And this is how much I have left. I think what I might do is do a Navajo ply with that because it's pretty thin. So it could easily be Navajo plied, and there's not long color repeats, but I didn't weigh it, and I'm just thinking just use up all the yarn and Navajo ply it, or maybe I can knit something else and put this as a binder. I don't knit, spin something else, make it as a binder. I'm finding that my spinning is pretty much 2-ply, 3-ply. I don't really think about all those other lovely things that you can do. I mean, I know there are, and then I go to spin and I just do that instead of doing anything that's interesting. I'm trying to get better light. Where's the light? So when I was at Webb's, and I think if any of you have been listening, when I go to Rhinebeck, I almost always buy fleeces or natural fiber. I don't really buy a lot of dyed stuff. I've hardly bought any dyed stuff. I've probably maybe 5 things of dyed things ever at Rhinebeck. Other things like the mohair locks I bought dyed, and I bought some other stuff a long time ago, and then I've just kind of switched. So I bought some dyed fiber at Webb's. I bought abstract fiber Targhee in Deep Lake. I was looking for Targhee at New York Sheep and Wool, and I did not see it, Rhinebeck. So I bought this, and I don't know how big this is. 4 ounces. It looks beautiful. I love blues and greens. I love blues and greens, purples, magentas. Yeah, as you will see. Okay, purples, magentas. So this one is, I don't know what this one is. It might be Great Adirondack Yarn Company. And this is Mulberry Silk Roving. And this is in colorway Nicobar? I don't know. I can't really read it. But this is 3 ounces. And they also had this fiber by Malabrigo, and this is Noob, and it's the Wales ROA colorway. And this is 4 ounces of merino, and I thought, well, can you see? They're very similar in colors. And I thought what would be really fun is if I did a loose ply with this, and then at least single with this, and then wrapped it with this. It would be really pretty. A bulky kind of yarn like that. So we'll see how well that works out. They're both super soft, and the colors go beautifully, so I thought it would be really fun to do something like that. We'll see how that goes. I saw a video before I went to Webs. I'm still considering a Cricut loom, and honestly, if the samples don't make you want to get a loom at Webs, I don't know what would, because they're absolutely stunning. And they look like they're easy to make. They don't look like they're complicated. And I had been watching a few podcasts that have been doing weaving and showing off their weaving, and it's so exciting and it's really fun. And I was like, wow, that would be really great. But right now, obviously, I'm going to be gone for 3 months. There's no point in me getting it right now. I don't have any time. I'm trying to get through this certification. Nothing new is going on where I need to really pay attention. So, with that said, I was like, okay, well, what else? Maybe I can. Started looking around, and I saw a blending board. I'm like, oh, that's really fun. Let me go look and see what people do with the blending boards. Well, people do a lot of really fun things with blending boards. And you can make the cute little poonies, you can make tight rolags, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. And then so I was like, all right, well, it's $175. They have 20% off on all spinning tools, plies, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, it's not that bad. I could use that without really having to learn anything. I can just use my materials. And then I thought, well, let me just watch some videos and see how it's done. And then I found a girl. I have a drum carder, obviously. I've been drum carding things, who did the same thing on the drum carder. And I was like, wow, that's fabulous. I don't need to buy a blending board. I can just use the top part of the drum carder. And then I found some other people who make art bats, and I was watching all that. I'm like, oh my God, this is so fun. And one of the things that I do like about doing the fiber, like pre-dyeing the fiber, is that you can dye them loose in the locks in a crock pot. I don't have to use any plastic. It's not like, when you space dye stuff like this, sometimes a lot of plastic gets used. And, I'm trying to mitigate the plastic waste. So this would be a really fun way to use the crock pot that I bought for $10 at the Salvation at Goodwill, and dye fiber into color batches, because the other thing too is it blends, like you get heathered yarns when you do that, because not all the dye is going to hit the same on the lock, so the things change. Even this yellow color has a lot of variation in it. This one has a lot of variation in it too. I mean, it's the only saving grace is that you can't see the color very well, but it is very pretty. There's a lot of depth of color in here. So that's kind of fun to play like that. So I would like to get into that, and I do have some dyes made up. I have a lot of washed natural fleece and fiber, because hey, I bought tons of it at Rhinebeck the last few years. So I'd like to play around that way and do some different kind of spinning besides just my regular 2-ply, 3-ply. I would like to actually plan a project, like, I'm going to spin this for this project, so that I know how much I need. Because when you're making art bats and things like that, it's a one-time deal. You can't really replicate a lot of that stuff very easily. So that's my thought anyway. I keep wiping this, and there's a color. There's a unicorn on the bottom of my notepad here, and I'm trying to wipe the unicorn off. That's crazy. All right, let's see. What else did I want to talk to you about? Blocks, Omni, blah blah blah. Okay, blocking wires. I bought the Spinicity. Oh my god. This is the one thing I forgot to write down. But I bought those blocking wires that are very flexible and stretch out flat, but you can make them do all sorts of crazy things. And I blocked the French can with that. I want to tell you, those things were amazing. The only thing is I wish that there was a pokey tip that you could stick on it and then transfer it so that when you needed to just poke through your knitting, you weren't catching anything. Because I think if it was if it had a needle tip on it, it would definitely slide over the stitches. I actually just poked it through. I poked it through the top, and then I poked it right around the bottom of that cable, all the way around the bottom of the cable, and I pulled it out, and then I just flattened the points, because I didn't really think that they needed to be outstretched pointy, and I couldn't do it outside because I wasn't going to be home all day. I don't have those mats. Oh my god, it's 56 minutes. I bought mats, and I bought them at the auto store. They stunk so bad, they made what I put on my thing smell, that it needs to be rewashed. And so I use those out in the shed now as a floor because it's a dirt floor out there. And I feel like, I don't really want to go that route. I'd like to find a different way to block where outside I have a deck, and it's wood, and I can poke the needles in there, and that works on top of a towel. That's fine. But I can't be gone all day, and a shawl will dry in a day. It really dries very quickly out there, but you can't do it in the rain. So I blocked that in my bathroom on a towel, and I was able to poke a little bit of the T-pins in, but not where I could really poke stuff out. But those wires really helped because the shape went so quick. Seriously, I don't know why I was ever blocking without them. I highly recommend them. Those are really good. They're a little spendy. I bought both sets together, and it was $100 because you got some money off, and I think they gave me free shipping or something. Or expedited shipping because of something, whatever. But they're a great company to deal with, and I really enjoyed those blocking wires. So I have a tip. We're already at 57 minutes. We're going to do meditation next week. Let me talk about two things right now. And this has everything to do with your mouth. So I don't brush I think I've explained to you, I don't brush my teeth with regular toothpaste. I've been using alternate forms of toothpaste for years. I've not ever had a cavity after I was a child. So I don't believe that fluoride toothpastes are cavity prevention things. Don't take my word for it. Please go do your own research. But fluoride is not really something that I would ingest. I have a well here at the house. Beacon's Water Supply, not the town I live in, doesn't put fluoride in their water. But a lot of places do put fluoride in their water, and or they have runoff from farms getting into the water supply system, which then gets into the water. You can look up your water supply if you have town water by just doing the Google search for your town and the water report. And you will find it, and you'll be able to find out everything that's in your water, and then wish you had put in a system for those contaminants. So let's just talk about fluoride for a minute, because fluoride is actually, if any of you have been watching before, my whole thing is helping people with hormone issues. And fluoride, because I've had them, it's not easy to deal with. Fluoride actually blocks your thyroid from working properly, and if you have hyperthyroidism, fluoride is part of a medication treatment. So it suppresses your thyroid, which can cause hypothyroidism, not hyperthyroidism where it's working too fast. It's hyper. Hypo is it's going too slow, which can also lead to a multitude of other things. I mean, there's not just hypo and hypo. There's autoimmune diseases, Hashimoto's, Graves. All these things can happen because of all of these pollutants and contaminants that are getting into our bodies, not having the right minerals, and it's a long list of things, but one tip is, if you can please look at your toothpaste and see if you can find an alternate source. If you actually like to use the toothpaste thing, there are a few on the market. There are other ingredients that I don't appreciate in toothpaste that are in there, and that's why I've just decided to actually forego it completely. And what I use is coconut oil. Coconut oil is a natural antimicrobial, so it keeps your teeth very, very clean. Like, I brush my teeth with that. Don't spit it in the sink, because it hardens at room temperature, and then you can damage your pipes and things. So just spit it into the garbage or whatever you want to do with your spit waste. But anyway, my teeth feel like they've just been out of the hygienist. That's the word I want. Sorry. It's early. It's very early in the morning. I need to get out there and move that fence before I go see Megan later. So anyway, it's very important to keep your mouth healthy and clean, but it's also very important not to bring in anything else that's going to damage your body. We have so many things that we don't have control over. I've talked about this before. We've got pollutants in the air. We've got pollutants in water. We've got pollutants everywhere. And a lot of these things we can't control. But the things that you can control, it's really important for you to take charge of those, because that means less of a toxic stress is getting into your body. What happens is our body keeps it, it deals with these stresses, and you go, oh, I'm fine, until all of a sudden you're not fine anymore. And then you have to work on getting rid of them. And it's a long process. So you're better off trying to, if you already have them, clean them out. And we can talk about that in another show about detoxing, which is complicated. It's not as easy as most people think, and a lot of people have different words for detox and what it is. And anyway, I don't want to get into that now because we're already over an hour. But if you can clean out the stuff that is actually hurting you, that you have control over, you are so far ahead of the game, really. I remember once my cat Agatha, she was fine, just like Alexander was fine, everything's no problem. And then all of a sudden, the cat's like half dead, and I'm like taking her to the vet, and they're like, how could this cat be so bad in just 2 days when it was fine? I mean, it was fine. There was nothing wrong. There was no appetite problems. It's going to the bathroom fine. It's running around. Everything's fine. And they're like, they're overcompensating. And then they get to a certain point, they can't overcompensate anymore, and their body just can't deal it, and it just poosh. And I believe the same thing happens to us, but everybody is different, and how long we can stay in these hyper states of your body being able to compensate, and then finally it's just like whoosh. And I remember when that happened to me. I totally remember when I just was like, the extra straw that hit, and that was it. I couldn't deal anymore. My body just totally went downhill, and I had a bunch of thyroid issues that really exploded. And so stressors, whether it be mental emotional stress, environmental stresses, heck, just being on this computer is electromagnetic. That is a problem for me. It really is. So we really need to just control as much as we can. So that's my tip. So if you can please at least get rid of the fluoride, either in your drinking water, which is not easy to do. I should have probably put something on that. Maybe I'll jump into that next week. But there are ways that you can mitigate things. But every system of water, it depends on what you have in your water. Let me just put it that way, because one filtration system is not going to get everything. So there are different filtration systems for different contaminants that are in your water. So if you have fluoride, if you have town water, you most generally have chloride or chlorine. Did I say that right? Chloride, yeah. Anyway, the chlorides, and they're not good either. And either way, there's things that it's complicated to find the right system. Anyway, toothpaste and drinking water. And please, if you buy, remember I was talking about distilled water when I bought it for my face wash, and I saw jugs of it with Gerber on it, and they actually added fluoride to it for a child. Like, oh my God. It's just frightening. It scares me that we can't really rely on the EPA to help us out with things, and they really should be, and they just get overpowered with the way things go. And I'm not going to say more than that, but it's just, you need to do your homework, and you need to do the research on your own, and go look up fluoride and why it's not good for you. Look up just fluoride and thyroid, and you'll find a bunch of information on that, because it's just ridiculous that they add it to the water. We have complete thyroid imbalance in this country, and from a multitude of other reasons, but you don't need to stick it in the water and make it worse. Or your toothpaste. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to try to upload this right now so it doesn't get lost, because if I have to redo this again, it's just not going to happen. I really need to figure out how to do iMovie, because apparently I don't really know how to use it very well. Anyway, that's enough. Thank you, and I will see you again probably next week. Ciao.